ever stared at an API doc or a SaaS contract and thought, do I ask? Or do I just Google it and hope I figure it out? If you've been there, you're not alone. Today, I'll show you exactly how to ask for clarification in technical and legal docs without sounding confused, unprepared, or junior. Whether it's an API spec, a service level agreement, or a termination clause in a SaaS contract, unclear documentation can stall your work, create risk, and cost time. But here's the catch. If English isn't your first language, it can feel uncomfortable to ask questions. You don't want to seem like you didn't read it properly. You don't want to look unprofessional. So what do? You stay quiet. You guess. You Google. And sometimes you make the wrong call. But smart professionals don't guess. They clarify. Welcome to Tech English Pro. This is the channel where we focus on business English for tech professionals. Let's get started. Three clarification questions you can always use. Next time you're reading a technical doc or a contract and something isn't clear, try one of these phrases. Number 1, just to confirm, does this mean ... For example, just to confirm, does this endpoint return a 404 or 422 when the ID is invalid? Number 2, could you give me an example of how this would be used? For example, could you give me an example of how this early termination clause would apply? Number 3, what would be the risk if we misunderstood this section? For example, if we don't include the header in every cell, what kind of error are we likely to see? These questions don't make you look weak. They make you look thorough and solution-focused. Legal docs and API docs. Let's break down two types of docs you might face in tech and what you can ask. API documentation. Does this method support pagination or return the full dataset? Are these status codes final or subject to change? Is this request rate limited per user or IP? SaaS agreements and contracts. In the SLA, response time. In the SLA, does response time mean time to acknowledge or time to resolve? If the contract auto-renews, what's the latest we can cancel? What happens to our data if we terminate before 12 months are up? Asking these questions early prevents escalation later and shows clients and partners that you read carefully. How to ask without sounding unprepared. Don't say, I don't get this. What does this mean? Instead say, from what I read, it seems like you're understanding. Is that accurate? Or it looks like this clause allows either party to cancel with 30 days notice. Can I confirm I'm reading correctly? If the writing is dense, highlight or comment directly in the doc. Use GitHub, Google Docs, or PDF to ask for clarification in line. Let's practice. I'll show you examples. API doc sample. All API requests must include a valid HMAC-SHA-256 signature generated using the client's secret appended to the authorization header. Ask, just to clarify, are we generating this signature using the raw payload or encoded string? Contract clause. This agreement may be terminated by either party upon 30 days written notice, provided that the terminating party has not materially breached contract. Ask, so even if we give 30 days notice, we can't terminate if we've violated any part of the agreement? Is that correct? Paraphrasing first, then asking makes your question sound confident, not confused. Your challenge today is this. Pick the most confusing sentence from a document you've read this week, whether it's an API doc, a product spec, or a SaaS agreement, and rewrite it in your own words. That's how you build technical and legal fluency in English. Before we wrap up, let's break down some common technical and contract-related words that you'll often see in API documentation and SaaS agreements, and how to understand or ask about them in plain English. In API docs, the term endpoint means a specific URL you send a request to in an API. An example question would be, which endpoint do I use to update the user data? Payload, meaning the actual data sent with a request. Example question, should the payload be sent in JSON or form data? Rate limiting, meaning limits on how many times you can call the API in a given period. Example question, what's the rate per minute for this endpoint? Authentication/authorization, meaning authentication means who you are. Authorization means what you can do. Example question, is this token for authentication or for authorization? Header, meaning extra metadata sent with your API request. Example question, do I need to include an API key in the header or the body? In SaaS agreements/SLAs, the term SLA, service level agreement, meaning a guarantee of performance, uptime, response time, etc. Example question, does the SLA guarantee uptime monthly or annually? Termination clause, meaning rules about ending the contract. Example sentence, are there penalties if we terminate before 12 months? Auto renewal, meaning the contract renews automatically unless you cancel. Example sentence, when's the latest we can opt out of auto renewal? Notice period, meaning the time you must give before canceling. Example sentence, can we email notice or does it have to be in writing? Breach/material breach, meaning a serious violation of contract terms. Example sentence, what counts as material breach under this agreement? These phrases are common, but rarely explained, and they matter more when you're building, buying, or integrating tech tools. Don't forget to share this video with someone you love or someone in your team so you can work better together in the future. And don't forget to subscribe to Tech English Pro. And stay tuned for our 30-day series, 30 Days to Better English. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.